como Immortal en Invincible.
Oh my God, yes.
O como Charles Xavier en X-Men 97.
Y como mil y una voz, en verdad, porque el hombre...
Y como Han Solo en Robot Chicken.
Bueno, mi gente, vamos a presentar a nuestra estrella de hoy.
Con un súper aplauso, vamos a darle la bienvenida.
¡Ross Marquand!
¿Cómo estás? Hola. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
¡Bienvenido!
How is everyone? Mi español es muy malo, pero I will try my best to speak as best I can. But, solamente 2 años en alta escuela. ¿Cómo se dice alta high school?
Escuela superior.
Sí, bueno, sí, pero I will try.
No, for 2 years, your English is pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, como mencionamos, se pueden parar de pasar en la fila. Pete va a bajar con el micrófono para que lo vayan manejando. So, Ross, you started yesterday. How has your experience been so far? How would you like to hear in Puerto Rico?
Well, I got in. I was very jet lagged, so I flew in and I was very tired. So after the convention, I just kind of went to bed. But I'm excited to explore the next 4 days after the convention. I'm going to go around the island and I want to go to El Yunque.
Ok, ¿cuál tú prefieres? ¿Oeste o este?
Inside,
West is best.
Okay. East side, okay. Alright. Some people are saying west side. We say west, okay, so este, west. Oh my god, this is like, okay. Oeste. Oeste. Okay, bueno. Y este. Okay, I'll go. Okay, perfect.
Well, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've done a lot of voice acting, a lot, but you also have done, live action. Which one do you prefer the most?
They're both a lot of fun, but I think if I'm being honest, I love doing voiceover because you can go into a booth wearing your pajamas, you can wear whatever you want to wear, and you can work for 2 or 3 hours, and then you have the rest of the day to yourself, With on-camera acting, it's, Walking Dead was, it was like usually 15 hours a day. You're out there in the brutal heat, you got bugs all over you, and fake blood and mud and everything. I loved it. You get to kill zombies for them, that was cool. That it does take a toll on your brain and your body, so if I had to choose between the two, probably voiceover. Yeah. And you could be whatever character you want to be. If you're on camera, they're going to base whether or not you get a role based on what you look like and your physical, whatever you're bringing to the table. But with voiceover, you can play a little like Adam character. You can play a giant creature like we just did in Invincible. You do whatever you want. So it's cool. Yeah.
so you mentioned Walking Dead, and I'm a hopeless romantic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yes.
Everyone who falls in love on our show dies. So.
Yes, but you got the chance to, let's say, live, maybe not for a long time, spoilers, but live like a long, loving relationship during the apocalypse. How was that for you to prepare for being in that serious relationship with Aaron and Eric? How did you handle that?
It was great. The cool thing is Jordan, who played Eric, he came, he was a Blue Man. I don't know if you guys know Blue Man Group?
Yeah.
So he was a Blue, exactly, yeah. So he was a Blue Man for 10 years in Orlando, yeah, at Universal. So he would finish Blue Man at 10 o'clock at night, see his wife and daughters, kiss them goodbye. He's like, Daddy's got to go to work in Atlanta. He would drive 6.5 hours from Orlando to Atlanta. And then no sleep, never slept. We would just go right in the set. We would shoot his scenes for like a day or two, and then he'd go right back to Orlando and do Blue Man again until we needed him here. And he was the hardest working guy on that show. He never complained. And the cool thing is we created this amazing backstory for the two of us. We created the way we met, the Peace Corps and all this great stuff. So we had a lot of time to build up a backstory on the two of us, and I think it helped a lot.
No, it did. They showed beautifully. So
Thank you.
given the chance that you get, would you go back to killing zombies anytime soon?
I think I should, right? Yeah. I mean, the spin-offs are doing really well.
Really well.
They're getting well received and good praise and good numbers. So that AMC basically said if those do well, then they'll consider making other ones. And it seems like they're doing pretty great. So there's I mean, there's so many of us that survived. So I feel like they should.
Crossing fingers.
So you are one of the ones who live then?
I am.
Still.
Yeah. Oh, well, you get a mace for an arm. It's
How was that? Because we fans, obviously from the comics, knew that, well, Rick lost his arm.
Yeah.
Almost never did the series. But you being one that was able to do that and having that awesome battle, how was that for the action scenes and all that?
It was amazing. I mean, like, it was, what a cool weapon to have, too, on your hand, just like a giant mace. But, like, there were two different versions. There was the rubber one for when I actually had to kill zombies. Because if I did hit someone, I didn't want to actually kill them, right? So there's a rubber one, a hard rubber one that I had to put my hand in there like this because it was so tiny. And they locked it in with a little coupler on the wrist. And there were screws all throughout your arm and, you know, ratcheted up with the leather straps. But the metal one, that was for like breaking doors and windows. You could actually kill somebody with that. Like that was a real, basically, it was all metal, you know. Except for the middle portion of my hand. It was like 15 pounds or so, not too bad. But like, you wear that all day long, 15 pounds is like, oh my God. You know, so it just kind of, this arm is longer than the right arm now. Seriously. It's like an inch shorter. I mean, it's longer. Yeah, so, kind of crazy. But yeah.
Gente, si quieres preguntar, ahí está Pete, excelente.
We have a question here. You can do it, Superman.
How does it feel to be officially part of the X-Men roster now? Giving
Yes!
Giving voice to such an iconic character.
Thank you. Like, listen, I was just telling them backstage, like, that show, the original X-Men, was the reason why I wanted to become an actor, because specifically Wolverine, I felt, because I got picked on a lot. I was like a kid that I was an indoor kid, and I got, you know, bullied a lot. I had glasses and pimples and braces, and I was really skinny and into comic books and stuff. And I felt like Wolverine got me. I felt like this dude knows what it's like to be an outsider, to be an outcast. And I said, I want to do that when I'm older. And so to be 30 years later, able to work on one of my favorite shows as Charles Xavier, no less.
Yes.
Amazing. So it's like, I'm very grateful, and I don't know if all of you have seen the new X-Men, but it's incredible.
Beautiful.
Smashing, thank you. Like, it's getting all sorts of great records and ratings, so if you get a chance, X-Men 97, it's awesome. It's so good. Yeah. And it gets progressively darker as the year goes on.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll see. Yeah.
You've done a lot of Marvel characters throughout the years. Is there any other superhero that you really want to do?
Well, I said I wanted to play Moon Knight, but of course,
Somebody kind of
Oscar beat me to the punch a little bit. But I actually want to play a villain again. I want to play Omega Red. Because, like, if you guys know, like one of Wolverine's biggest foes, one of his biggest enemies, and like he has, it's not adamantium, it's it's like some Russian version of the alloy, but he's got these, these like radioactive tentacles that can suck people's energy, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. So yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
We have another question here. Cool.
Hi, Ross. One question about the MCU. You play the Red Skull, and how difficult was to get the voice of that character, because it's really a unique person.
Yeah, thank you. So they originally asked me if I did a Hugo Weaving impression, who did the first Avenger. Of course, he was Red Skull in that, and I wasn't really sure what to say because Hugo Weaving is Australian, but he does mostly English, American, sometimes German, of course. And they said, well, it's like think of like a German Hugo Weaving. And I said, are we talking about Red Skull? They're like, we can't say, it's a secret project. I'm like, okay. And they gave me a voice sample, and sure enough, it was from the first Avenger. And I was like, okay, I'll work on it. I sent it back in a few days, didn't hear anything for like a month, so I figured I didn't get it. And I didn't even know what it was, so I was like, whatever. And then I got the call and they're like, hey, you got that Hugo Weaving voice match, and I was like, I have no idea what that is, what it is, you know, because I'd forgotten about it. And then they said, well, they need you in Atlanta right now. I was in LA, so I flew out right away, and I got there, and it was a room kind of like this, honestly, like the studio was very similar looking to this room.
Oh, okay.
And there's 100 and so people waiting for me, and I'm like, okay, this is, I don't know what this is, but this is pretty big, obviously. And they're putting the dots on my face, getting ready for the motion capture suit and everything, and the makeup guy goes, you don't know what we're working on, do you? I'm like, they haven't told me anything. He's like, this is the new Avengers, and I was like, oh my God, what? So I went to the bathroom and I just freaked out. I was just like, I was like, I have to just like do some breathing. I was like, holy crap. And I said like, I'm gonna play Red Skull. They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I had no idea. They didn't tell me. So that was like one of the best moments of my life. Because like I said, Marvel was my childhood. And I'm just so happy to be able to play, you know, Red Skull, Ultron, Professor X, and hopefully other ones to come in the future. We'll see.
We have another question here?
Hi Ross.
Hello.
Following my friend's question, what character was more challenging, Red Skull or Aaron? Also, Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra! Which character was more what?
More challenging.
More challenging. Oh, I think Red Skull only because with Aaron, no one had played Aaron before, and there was so much expectation for Red Skull. Like, you know, I wanted to make sure that people weren't, you know, too thrown off by the voice. So like, it wasn't my interpretation of Red Skull. It was Hugo's interpretation, right? So I wanted to sound as much like him as possible. But the funny thing is, like, a lot of people come to my booth, they're like, why'd you got Red Skull? And say, that wasn't you. And I was like, no, it was, I promise. Like, I played him. And they're like, no, that was the other guy. I was like, no, I promise. Yeah, I was like, I did it. But like, I also just like, as a fan of the character from when I was a kid too, like that's the oldest, he and Lex Luthor are the two oldest supervillains in the history of comic books, right? So they came out within a year of each other, like 1938, 1939. And so there's so much expectation and so much, I guess like fandom surrounding this guy. Like there's like a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of people think he should be played this way, he should be played this way. And so I was very nervous about how am I going to convey this guy who's been on Vormir for 80 years. You know, he can fly now, he's broken by his own ambition. So like, it was a marriage of Hugo's performance from the first Avenger while also making him a darker, more kind of saddened character. So the Russo brothers told me to like combine Hugo's Red Skull with Yoda from Star Wars. And I was like, yes. Like, no. Not sounding like Yoda, but like a creature that had been cursed with infinite knowledge about the entire universe and had lived for way longer than he should have. So that's what I try to do with the character. So, yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Nice ears, by the way. Let's go.
Héctor,
Mucho gusto.
like you said before, you liked the shows that they were like a dark material. So I thought for a second that it was my childhood as well, things that it was dark, including, if it doesn't count, gargoyles. So if something so dark like that, what voice could it be interpreted as something, as a character that is dark, whether it is good or bad?
Oof. That is a good question. So it's funny you mentioned gargoyles because I met Keith David a few months ago, who's the voice of the main gargoyle, Goliath. Yeah. So he has that beautiful voice, you know, that just that gargoyles, no, you know, like that. Like his voice is the most incredible voice ever, probably. And he was also in this movie with Roddy Piper, and They Live. So that's funny you mentioned that. I think, you know, like Xavier has, if he were a bad guy, he'd actually have a voice that lends itself to darkness too, right? So like, it really just kind of depends on your energy you put into it and the meaning behind the script. Because like even Red Skull, he has a very sort of calming. It's like, yes, how are you, Captain Rogers? It is my curse to know all who travel here. You know, like, there's actually something kind of calm and pleasant about that. Thank you. But he's like, it just kind of depends on the writing, right? Like it's just the tone and the writing of the script, and you just have to interpret that however you see fit. So yeah.
I was going to ask you, you like impersonating a lot of celebrities?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten like any feedback from any of them, and have you gotten like starstruck?
I've got a few, but I met Matthew McConaughey briefly like 10 years ago, and I was like, my buddy was like, dude, you gotta do your impression for me. He's like, oh no, I was like, no, I don't really want to. I was like, no, he's like, no, let's hear it. And I was like, that's cool, you just want a true detective, that's all right, man, that's all right. And he was like, that's funny, man, yeah, keep it up, all right. And I was like, okay. And then I do a lot of Donald Trump, of course, because
He's, of course, he's been down here. Everybody, you know, he loves Puerto Rico. It's a great island. One of the best islands in America, believe me, okay? The most beautiful. They got the most paper towels, believe me. Just like that.
I mean, like, that was messed up. But yeah, so I do a lot of different people, but yeah, that's kind of how I got a job with Rasmus.
If I remember correctly, you were part of Battlefield Hardline. How was it to be part of a video game?
Oh, Battlefield Hardline?
Yeah.
That game, you know what's funny, like, we spent like 2.5 years recording that, and it was a blast. Like, it was so much fun. The thing with video games that a lot of people don't realize is, if you're hired, like a lot of my friends work on Red Dead Redemption, and like love that game, but you're oftentimes playing not just your character, but like 30 other characters, because they have all these bandits or outlaws or like shopkeepers or whatever that you have to also do voiceover for. So we literally did like 2.5 years on that game, and it was just new voice after new voice, and you're doing like Russian thugs, and like, you know, you're going all over the city of Los Angeles, and just like, most of the time you're screaming at the top of your lungs, like, put your gun down to the ground, and you're just like, so you're playing police officers and thugs, and it was so much fun to do. But I hope I'm gonna do more, because Battlefield, that whole series, is one of my favorites, honestly. So yeah. Perfect. Yeah, no.
Hello,
Is that a
Boba
Boba Fett hat?
Yeah, Boba Fett, yeah.
Hell yeah. Nice.
I have a question for you. Are you satisfied with the ending in general for The Walking Dead? And are you satisfied with your character's ending up till now?
I almost answered that as Donald Trump. That was weird.
Here's the deal, okay? I wanted a more bloody ending. I really wanted more bloodshed. I wanted a lot of people to die.
We honestly were hoping that the cast was like, we want to go out with a bang, right? And a lot of us were just like, hey, if you know, just like, let's go out with a bang, let's kill like a bunch of people off, because we wanted to be like Shakespearean. And the writers decided they wanted to keep a lot of us alive in case they wanted to do extra spin-offs, but we were expecting a lot more bloodshed, if I'm being honest. But I think it was a perfect ending for the show as a way to set up the spin-offs, if that makes sense. Like, it was like, it's impossible to wrap up any show perfectly, as you know. Like, I mean, even the best shows on TV, Seinfeld, Friends, even though I didn't really watch that, but like, you know, MASH, like, you have no idea how hard it is to wrap up a show perfectly. It's almost impossible. So I think it was a good setup for the spin-offs, but I really wish there was more bloodshed, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Talking about the spin-off, would you rather be, for example, in a future season in New York or in France?
I don't know.
Or where?
I keep saying, I was like, I want to pitch one where it's me and my daughter and a few other cast members, and we go down to Peru, because I just, like, for one, I just love Peru. It's like one of my favorite countries. And if Daryl can somehow make it over to France,
Yes.
What is it, motorcycle fly now? What the hell is this? Surely we can make our way from Georgia down. It will take a few weeks, but we can make our way down to Peru. And I just, what's that?
Walker's Airlines?
Yeah, but also I just feel like I spend a lot of time in Peru, and I feel like seeing walkers in like an Incan ruin would be so cool. Like in Machu Picchu, like seeing like walkers coming up, that would be, I just think it'd be neat. I think it'd be neat visually, you know, so yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Ross, I have a question. In Avengers Endgame, how was it like doing the scene where Natasha sacrificed herself with Scarlett Johansson and Jeremy Renner?
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people still blame me for Black Widow and Gamora's death. Dude, I didn't kill either one of them. First of all, Black Widow killed herself. She did. Well, she did. And then Gamora, obviously Thanos threw her off the cliff, so like that wasn't me either. My job as the information. Exactly. Yeah, I'm the information guy. Like I'm the guy that says
the NPC.
Yeah, I'm the NPC. Right. I'm just like, hey, here's some exposition. If you want to get the stone, this is what you got to do. So I didn't technically kill either one of them. I'm just saying. But it was crazy. I mean, like I remember reading that script and being like, oh damn, like, because they only give you the pages of the scenes you're in. Only like 6 or 7 of the original Avengers cast got the full script, but most people were just given the pages they were in because they were so worried about leaks. And there's so much stuff that happens in both of those movies, especially at the end of course, Endgame. You got, Steve Rogers and Iron Man basically leaving the series. And of course, in the first one, you got Gamora and like half of the cast being wiped out because of the snap. So there was a lot of secrets they were trying to protect. But I remember reading that and being like, "Oh damn, this is gonna blow people away." And sure enough, in the theater, you could hear a pin drop in that scene where Thanos chucks Gamora over the edge. Like that really affected a lot of people in a big way. And I think the Black Widow did too, of course. Like, but that was just more like a sacrifice for herself, as opposed to some big purple bastard throwing her off a cliff. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
I'd like to know about your experience working on Invincible and your thoughts on the show overall.
It's awesome. It's so funny because like Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead, of course, too, he created Invincible as well. And initially, he just wanted me to play Immortal because he was like, "You kind of look like him. You got a big beard, and I feel like you could probably do this voice." I was like, "All right, thanks." And he hired half of the Walking Dead cast to be in that. Of course, Invincible is Glenn. You've got Maggie as Warrior Woman, Sasha, Abraham, Tyrese, Morgan. Like, there's so many Walking Dead actors in the show, and I think he was just like, "Well, we got all these other characters. Can you do other voices?" And I was like, "Yeah. What do you need?" So I've been playing like 10 or so other characters on the show, and I just love that he gives me room to play, because initially it was just going to be this very strict immortal voice, you know. And I love doing him, but I also love doing Rudy, you know, because of course Jason Mantzoukas plays Rudy, he plays Rex Explode, I should say. And they asked Rex if he could, or Jason, if he could do like a prepubescent version of himself. And I guess he couldn't quite reach that high of a, you know, because he's got a very deep, kind of scratchy voice. And so they asked me if I could do like a teenage version of Jason. And that's where the voice of Rudy came from. And Aquarius was basically just underwater jump bridges. So it's been cool. Like, he just keeps giving me room to play, and I love working with Robert. Like, I hope I get a chance to work with him forever. And the show is, like, I hope you're loving it too. Like, it's so good. It's like it's kind of, I always tell people it's like an animated version of The Boys, except a totally different storyline, of course. Yeah. And I just love that nowadays we're doing so many other superhero stories as opposed to like the very basic, like, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, end of story. Like, I think that's kind of old and very morally simplistic, because there are good and bad things about the villains and the heroes in all of these stories. And I love that, you know, like Omni-Man is definitely a villain, don't get me wrong, but like, he's done some good stuff too, so it's hard to say. It's hard for Viltrumites, yeah, he's had it hard, yeah.
So talking about Rudy and Immortal, going again to Aaron, going to the topic of love, Rudy and Immortal have some, let's say, intense love stories. Which of those are you looking more forward to knowing what happens in the future?
Well,
tread lightly, tread very lightly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if everyone's caught up, so I can't. I mean, Rudy is obviously in love with Monster Girl, and I hope this isn't too much of a spoiler, but Immortal's in love with Kate, Duplicate. Yes. And for a lot of people who haven't seen all the series, I'm not gonna say anything, because a lot of crazy stuff happens this year.
The episode was so crazy.
Oh, dude, you talking about the...
Yes. Yeah. Anything just went so bad.
Yeah, everything, and everyone's just dying left and right. It's like, it's so... But I think that's what I love about Robert, because he's not afraid to kill your favorite characters. Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They're dropping your favorite characters left and right with the Red Wedding and all that. They're like, oh my god. Like, you couldn't believe that episode when you watch it for the first time. And I love that he's always ramping up the stakes on our show. So it's great. Yeah. Great question. Thank you.
Hey Ross.
Hello.
I had a question. So, what was your reaction to when you heard that you were going to get killed off in The Walking Dead?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I didn't get that call. But yeah, no.
How would you handle it?
Oh, how would I handle it? I think, you know, if I had gotten that call, I think I would have said, hey, cool, just give me a good death. I mean, that's all we can hope for, right? It's just that you have a meaningful time on the show and you have a meaningful death. I think Jesus got one of the coolest deaths.
That was so
great. Like, I mean, it just kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Yes.
And like, I hope you're all caught up. That was like 5-6 years ago.
Spoiler.
Sorry.
It's Holy Week, man.
Oh, right. Well, he'll come back then. He'll come back. He'll come back tomorrow. It's okay. No, todo está bien. Todo está bien. Jesus is fine. He's fine. But yeah, no, that was like a surprising but also really cool death, I think, because he handled it so beautifully. Like, you know. Anyway, you know.
More questions?
We have a question here.
Okay, so last year we had actor strike because of AI, and we have seen AI being more used in movies recently. How, being a voice actor, how do you feel threatened by the use of AI in films and in TV and video games?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like not enough people are talking about how scary AI is. Everyone's losing their mind and they're like, this is so cool, you can do this and this with AI, and don't get me wrong, AI is incredible and it's going to be the wave of the future for so many industries. But if we don't keep it in check and regulate it across the globe, we are all in for a big heap of trouble, because every industry, not just acting and voiceover, you name it, is going to be affected by this, and they're going to start replacing humans left and right. And I think we all got to stand up and say no. We have to say absolutely not, because you know there's nothing to gain from a computer doing a job that a human could do. You know, because then we're all out of work and it's just the robots having fun, and that's not good for anyone. You know? So yeah, I think they're leaning more and more into AI doing voiceover for different video games and for gigs in general. And it's a great idea for them, right? Because they get to save a bunch of money and they don't have to credit anybody, they don't have to give residuals. It's very smart for them from a financial standpoint, but there's no soul, right? Thankfully, they still can't replicate what it means to feel and really say stuff with anything from the heart, you know? So I'm hoping that lasts for a very long time, because I don't want to see AI do everything. It's terrifying.
We're just hoping that nothing like Terminator happens.
Yeah, because I mean, did no one see Terminator? Like, come on, man. Do I need to spell this out? It's not good. It's not good for anybody.
So talking about the future, you've been in many of fandoms, right?
Yeah.
Which one that you haven't worked in would you like to be in?
Well, I've gotten to play Han Solo a bunch of times in video games, and Phineas and Ferb, and the Lego Star Wars. I've played them a couple times, and I love that. But I want to play an actual character in the Star Wars universe. You know, because that's, I don't know, like for me, like that's Star Wars and Marvel were my childhood. You know, so if I get to play in that world, I'd be a happy man. I mean, I'm already happy.
A Jedi or a Sith?
No, Sith.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I love playing the good guys, but the villains have way more fun. You know, like they do. You know? Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, is that Obi-Wan? With a red saber? That's very interesting. Hello there. Yes, of course. Oh, it's lovely. No, stand up, please. We have to see your outfit. Yes, you are Ben Kenobi, but with a red saber. Did you take it away from the Sith? Okay. Oh, there we go. All I heard was like a Chewbacca roar. That was amazing.
We have a question here?
Nice.
Hi, Ross. Here.
Oh, cool. Hey,
If you can choose one character of The Walking Dead to survive at the end of the universe, which one would you rather survive?
If I could like bring back someone from the dead, you mean, or?
Like, if at the end of the universe of The Walking Dead, which character would you think it will survive? Like, just one.
Damn.
I hope it's Aaron.
Well, I mean, listen, I think Aaron's a great fighter and he's a very good leader, but man, that's a really tough question. I think Maggie. I think Maggie, yeah, because Maggie's a great fighter, she's a great leader, and she's a protector, you know, and I think she protects her people better than anybody, better than Rick did. Hot take, I realize, but like, Maggie protects her people better than Rick, so yeah, I would say Maggie. She'll take it all. Maggie will win.
Well, hi Ross, I'm Vanessa. So, I wanted to know what's your favorite MCU movie but that you're not in?
Oh, well, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. Like, I love Infinity War. Infinity War is my favorite all-time MCU movie, not just because I'm in it, but because I think the stakes are so high, and it's the first Marvel movie that I can think of where the villain wins. You never see that, not just in Marvel, but anything for that matter. Like, it's always wrapped up in a nice little bow at the end of the movie. You're like, okay, the bad guys lost and the good guys won, yay. But like with Infinity War, that just like was pretty kind of revolutionary, honestly. But Guardians was the most fun MCU movie by far. Like, I'll admit, as a kid, I always saw the Guardians of the Galaxy comics and I was like, I couldn't get into it. There was something just off about the characters for me. I just was like, I don't know who these guys are. There's a tree and there's a raccoon. I'm like, I don't care about it.
It's just talking to you.
Well, true, but I just, with one word, Vin Diesel has made so much money from one word. Like, I am Groot. Like, damn! How much money did you make for that? At least 2 or 3 words. I'm like, okay, man, good for you. But like, I just couldn't get into the comics as a kid, and I'm kicking myself now because I really wish I had known more about it. Because Guardians, when I watched it for the first time, that was like 14 years ago or so. But I remember watching my buddy Doug. He drugged me to the theater. He's like, we gotta watch it. I was like, this looks dumb. I don't want to see it. And I left the theater being like, this is my new favorite group. I love them all so much, and I love the beginning with Star-Lord dancing to Redbone. You know, come and get your love. Like, I was like, yeah, that's how a movie should be. You know, it should make you feel good. And then at the end, you know, John C. Reilly and everyone just hugging and having a good time. Like, I loved it. Yeah, thank you. It's a great question.
Ross, 2 questions.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Make it 3. Make it 3.
Make it 3? Well, you're gonna like these, I think.
Okay.
Before you became an established actor, a movie or TV series that you would have, or you've seen and you go, I would have been awesome in that?
Oh, man. Well, there were like 3 shows that I really wanted to get on before I got my big break. That were Mad Men, Sons of Anarchy, and Walking Dead, and Breaking Bad. Well, 4, I guess. But like, Breaking Bad was my that. If I could get on Breaking Bad, that would be just the best day ever. And I've gotten a chance, we were just talking with Giancarlo, of course, but my friend Matt plays Badger on the show. Real raspy voice guy, and I've gotten a chance to hang out with him, and he's lovely. And just there's so many good actors on that show that just crushed it. And I think that there's never been a better TV show ever than Breaking Bad. I think, and I stand by that. Like, I love Walking Dead, I love Mad Men, got a chance to work on both of them, but like, there's something about Breaking Bad that was just perfect. And that was the show that I really wanted to get on.
And the next one would be, as an actor, what character would you never play?
Would I never play? Man, I don't think I have a character I would never play. I mean, unless it was like really fully against my own morals or ethics, I guess from that standpoint. But I mean, even then, if it's a cool villain, you know, why not? You know, I think it's just about. I'd like to play anybody, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Marquand.
Hello.
I was just wondering, given the times that we live in nowadays, especially with racism and whatnot, I was wondering how did it make you feel to portray a gay character in such a famous TV show?
Well, that's a great question. the initial reaction from most of the fans was very positive, but there were, I will admit, like some fans who were not so enthusiastic about Aaron and Eric joining the show, and I dealt with a lot of the blowback of that negativity for a long time. But I will say, I think we've grown a lot as a society since then. Like, I don't know if you watched The Last of Us. Not The Last of Us. What am I saying? Last of Us. Yeah, what am I saying? I had a brain fart. The jet lag is really affecting me. But like, there's a beautiful episode. There it is, the third one with Nick Offerman, and like the reaction to that was so overwhelmingly positive that I was like, nice. It wasn't that way for me and Jordan, but I'm glad that we've grown, that universally we've grown as a society and be much more accepting, you know. So I think it's great, you know, we're really showing up and showing that diversity matters in all types of entertainment. So, yeah, thank you.
One question. In what language would you love to act or voice to act in?
Spanish. No, seriously. And I'm not just saying that. I love the Spanish language so much. The Spanish and Portuguese are my two favorite languages. And I've been trying to learn both. I'm okay. I understand more Spanish than I speak, but Spanish and Portuguese are my favorite. They just sound so beautiful. And yeah, I would say, especially Spanish. Like if I could come and do like some anime in Spanish, I would love that. I would love that. What anime do y'all like? Dragon Ball?
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, yeah, Cowboy Bebop's awesome. Yeah. What else? Naruto? Oh, Demon Slayer, nice.
One Piece as well.
One Piece?
One Piece.
Oh, One Piece, yeah, of course, yeah. I love One Piece. Which one? Oh, yeah. Naruto, yeah, nice. Okay.
Hi, Ross. I also have two questions. What was the most challenging scene that you've worked on in The Walking Dead, and what was your favorite movie, or favorite zombie movie growing up?
Favorite zombie movie of growing up? Is that what you're saying? Oh, favorite zombie movie growing up and to this day is definitely 28 Days Later. Like, yes. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but like, that kind of pisses off Greg Nicotero, one of our main directors on the show, because he's a zombie purist, meaning like he only believes that zombies should move slow, because he's like, well, it's reanimated corpses, they wouldn't be moving fast. I'm like, how do you know how a reanimated corpse is supposed to move? Like, they could be fast, they could be slow, you don't know. But 28 Days Later was crazy, because like fast-moving zombies, like World War Z style, nothing more terrifying than that. But the first part of your question?
You asked about the favorite zombie movie?
Oh, the hardest scene to do. The Negan lineup, you know. I mean, like, the eeny, meeny, miny, mo of it all. Just not knowing if it was going to be you or your friend next to you or someone else down the line getting your head bashed in, but you knew it was going to be one of you. You had to convey that as an actor over and over again for, I think we shot that from the season 6 finale to the season 7 premiere. It was like 8 or 9 days altogether. And we were just on our knees constantly just like crying over and over again. And they had to do a few different versions because they determined that there was an editor somewhere in the world, they thought in Europe, that was leaking the scenes, leaking the episodes ahead of time. And so they recorded these 3 different versions where me and Sasha and Carl and Maggie and I think Eugene died too. So like all these other versions where we died as well, because they wanted to leak some of those to different editors to see if anyone got leaked, and of course they found out who was doing it, and that guy got fired. But like that's how we were just doing it over and over and over again, and man, it sucked. And it was also just like emotionally abusive, you know, like it was like pretty crazy.
For you guys being such a family on that show, having so many years together, filming those scenes, knowing that they will change drastically, how was that?
I mean, it was nuts because like by the time we were coming back to season 7, we knew that of course it was going to be Glenn and Abraham, which was so sad, especially because like Abraham's my boy. I love Glenn too, but Abraham, like he and I used to be drinking buddies, used to go out all the time. And I was like, no, not my friend, you know. And it's like, you know, we still see each other, but it's not the same because it's like, you know, for a few hours at a convention every now and again. But you know, it was a family for a long time, and we all hung out all the time. And when you lose a family member, it's like, oh man, it's like working at a job and you know your favorite coworker all of a sudden is like, hey, I got a new job, I got to bounce, and you're like, what? No, you're my bathroom break buddy. You know, you're supposed to smoke cigarettes outside. Like, no, you know. So, yeah.
Hi. Other than Red Skull, if you got the chance to like play another character in the MCU, could be hero, villain, anybody, who would you play?
Well, I did say Omega Red, but I'm glad you asked again because there's there's a character named Slapstick who was in Deadpool a lot. He was literally like a cartoon within a cartoon. So there's this comic book writer who draws this character who has this giant mallet like Harlequin, and he's indestructible. Like he's like Deadpool, you can't kill him, right? And he goes around with Deadpool a lot. He has this like crazy purple hair and like kind of like Sideshow Bob. Yeah, and like he looks insane, and he is. And I just feel like bringing the voice to that would be a lot of fun. So maybe the next Deadpool. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Hi, Ross.
Hello.
So I have a question. How did it feel like to be part of the cast on Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
It was amazing, especially because Sam Raimi is one of my favorite directors, and getting a chance to be coached by him was just like, dude, like he's the guy. I mean, he revolutionized cinema in so many ways with camera angles and you know how he shoots his movies. Obviously, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. Like he's a genius, you know. My only regret with that was my scenes got cut down big time because of money and time. So there was a scene where Scarlet Witch basically comes into the Illuminati's headquarters, and she's killing everyone, right? And there's a protocol that comes over and it says like all Ultron sentries report to the Bay or whatever. And there's like 50 of us running. You'll see that scene where like we run into a room and you see all this smoke and stuff. Well, there was supposed to be a massive battle between 50 Ultron sentries taking down Scarlet Witch, and it looks like we've got her. Like we've created a ball around her, and we're crushing her body. Like she's literally being crushed in this moment, and at the last second she does this energy blast and blows us all away. But like that was this amazing scene that we did all these different efforts for and voices for, and then it got cut because of time. But I was like, oh man, it was amazing, and I hope maybe someday they'll release the loose animation for that because it was pretty epic. Yeah.
Hi Ross. Good afternoon. Have you ever done a stunt? If so, how dangerous was?
Can you repeat it? ¿Lo puedes decir en español también?
Yeah, he wants to know, have you ever done a stunt and how dangerous was that stunt?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't really I had a stunt double 1 or 2 times for The Walking Dead, but the rest of the time that's just us. Yeah. They were trying to save money probably, but honestly, we've done a bunch of crazy stunts on that, but the wildest was on the horses because they basically told us at the beginning of season 9, you're going to be on horses pretty much the next few seasons, and I was like, cool, I've never been on a horse. How do we do that? And they were like, we'll figure it out. And keep in mind, I've got one arm in the glove, so I couldn't use this to steer. So I'm steering with these 2 fingers. I've never been on a horse before, and I'm supposed to be chopping down walkers with a sword on the other hand. So I'm basically like steering with my knees and doing all this. And luckily they had a stunt guy for that day, but for a lot of it, I was just doing it as best I could, and that was really crazy. But the stunt that messed me up the most, we were chasing after Alpha in the scene where she's running through the woods, and the Georgia terrain is like all over the place. I mean, it's like hilly, but there's also just a lot of like potholes. And I was running, we were all running full blast, and I was behind Carol, and Jerry was behind me, and I hit this divot, and I popped my knee out of the socket. Like it went, you heard it go like this. And Cooper, Jerry, afterwards was like, did you just blow out your knee? I was like, yep, you sure did. He's like, you should tell someone. I was like, no, I got like one more take of me. And then like I told the medic and she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And she just kind of like rolled it back. But we had one more take of that. I was like, no, I can't do it. And I still haven't gotten it fixed. It's been 5 years because right after that, the pandemic happened. I didn't want to be in the hospital, so I still got to get that fixed. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for reminding me.
You should start making an appointment.
I should probably get an appointment for that. Yeah, I should probably do that. We should fix it. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Ross. Welcome to Puerto Rico. It's a simple question. What new project that you can talk about? Are you in like a video game and a movie? New project that you can talk about?
Okay, because that's the tricky part, is that the things I want to tell you about, I can't tell you about, but I'm just grateful that I can talk about Invincible and X-Men now, because I really feel like those two shows are going to be the thing that everyone's talking about over the next few years. Like, it's, you know, it's so cool what both of them are doing with the superhero genre, and I can't talk about that either.
Well, IMDb says that you have something, an upcoming project named Avenging Justice.
Oh, yeah.
It has a huge cast of amazing voice actors as well, so.
Yeah.
Can you say something about it?
I can't say anything about that, but I can say something about, I can't even talk about that. That was the thing. They make you sign these contracts that like, they'll take your firstborn child if you say anything, so I'm like.
Right now.
Yeah, I will say, like, definitely check out X-Men and Invincible if you haven't yet, but those are...
It's pretty.
Yes, but I can't talk about it. Again, I'm so sorry. But like, those two, check those out, yeah. Maybe next time I'm here, I can talk about that.
You will know soon,
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome to the island. You enjoy your stay. Fun fact, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. So.
Oh, you born in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Where?
Fulton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So now they used to call it the Peach State. Now it's called the Walking Dead State.
That's true. That's true. Sorry about that.
No, you know, things change for the better or the worse. Have you ever had dreams or nightmares of any movie or that you've done?
Honestly, the first few weeks of The Walking Dead, I had the weirdest nightmares, but it wasn't like scary, it was more trippy because, you know, you meet the walkers and they're real people, obviously. These are like real extras working underneath there. They're not robots, you know, they're real people and you get to know them pretty well. And so the dreams were, you know, the zombies talking to me about like really weird, mundane things and just like sitting around a table like the Last Supper and just being like, what the hell is this dream? So like for a while it got in my head big time, but after that you kind of get used to it and you're desensitized, so yeah.
No nightmares?
After that, not really. I mean, I have nightmares about other things, but not really about The Walking Dead.
They were like, how are they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was exactly like this, yeah.
I mean, the makeup in that show was really insane. At first, during the show, did you get like kind of freaked out when you were in character playing with them?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, like, you nailed it on the head, like, that's the best makeup team in the business. Like, K&B, who does the makeup effects for that show, they're the best. They get hired out by literally every big name. Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, all the biggest directors in the business hire them to do their makeup because they know they're the best. So it's really, you know, easy to act with a zombie because you like, that looks like a dead corpse, you know. So we loved working with those makeup artists. They were great, and I got a chance, of course, to have my arm all messed up and the log rolled on it, and that was cool. So yeah, it's neat.
We only have a couple of minutes for a couple of more questions. So I'm gonna go here and there. Hi Ross.
Hello.
I wanted to know, what is your favorite classic movie? By classic, I mean 1990s to early 2000s. That's classic?
Oh my God! Next question.
By the way, I'm gonna use my student, so I'm gonna film him in the class.
Classic movie, 1990, the two, just those 10 years, from way back ago. Well, since you're giving me those parameters, I mean, my favorite movie of all time is 2001, A Space Odyssey. But if you're giving me those parameters, I would say either LA Confidential or Seven. Seven's probably one of the most psychologically messed up movies I've ever seen. So, and Silence of the Lambs too. But yeah. What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, yeah. Hey, Negan, how you doing? Oh, hell yeah. Let me see the lean. You gotta do the lean. Oh, yeah. That's you got your pee-pee pants on. You got your poo-poo pants on. All right.
La pregunta la voy a hacer en español.
No. You have to do as Negan. Sí. Lo siento, no lo está viendo.
No me sale la voz de Negan. Ok. Como yo te conté en el autógrafo, yo estoy escribiendo un libro y pues quiero cuando saque el libro promocionarlo con una animación del libro tipo 30. Entonces, yo estoy realmente dirigiendo la animación y el voice acting. Y pues quería saber qué consejo overall tú me darías para saber dirigir bien un grupo de personas que casi ninguno es actor, ni de doblaje, ni de actor.
Yeah, I would just say the nice thing is that nowadays with YouTube and TikTok, it might get banned in this country, but we'll see. But you have so many ways of getting your work out there, you know, so don't be afraid to put your stuff out there as much as possible and stretch your voice. You know, I would just say try to do the lowest lows and the highest highs and everything in between. Try doing different accents, try doing different languages. Different languages helps a lot too. And just don't be afraid to fail, because that's where you learn the best. Like you don't, like there's a great quote, George Clooney was just saying this thing in an interview, where he's like, you don't learn anything from success, you really don't. You learn from failure over and over and over again. So even though there's never been more competition in the world literally ever before, because everyone wants to do voice acting and acting, there's never been a better opportunity for your stuff to get out there, because you got YouTube, you got Instagram, you got all the social media, TikTok and all this, so you can get discovered a lot easier. Whether you're a cosplayer, a voice actor, whatever, there's ways for you to get your stuff out there in a way that just wasn't there 20 years ago. And now you can. Like, look at Justin Bieber. We only know who Justin Bieber is because of YouTube, right? So like, just stretch your voice as much as possible. And if you keep doing it consistently and at a high quality, people will notice and you'll get discovered, I guarantee you. Yeah.
I think we can do one last question, just one.
And buena suerte para ti.
3 things, real quick. When you go to UK, you better go on bare feet. Do not go anything like slippers, because when it gets wet, you get slipped by the feet. So be careful when you step in it, because it has sharp rocks. Whether the ocean is good or bad, be careful also to swim there, because it's definitely the best place to be there. So second, by Star Wars, like you said, by being a Sith, you could do Darth Revan.
Oh, and that's what everyone keeps telling me about Revan. Actually, I need to read more about him because I don't know a lot about Revan.
He's anonymous. You can pick any kind of character of humor. You can be a comedian. You can be anonymous. You can be like Black Door on The Boys. He has no character whatsoever. He just sit there and be quiet.
Because he was Jedi and Sith, right?
Yeah.
I've heard good things about him.
Yeah. So the third one, Murphy, I don't know what middle name, I forgot accidentally. He played as the mob leader of the Peaky Blinders. And so is the director who directed, as you said, 28 weeks later. The horror is good, but had like flaws in between the script. And you can be in, they're planning on doing a reboot.
They're doing 28 years later now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's a production.
I would do that. Yeah, thank you for letting me know.
In my personal opinion, they should start like a mini-series between like how good it can be if it gets good, and then you can do a movie about it. Like starting with the comics. Like, there are two different versions of comics. The one that starts with everything before it happens, like in Chernobyl, like it tells everything before it happens, like zigzag between the future past. And the other version is with Selena survives after the first movie. What happens to her? She goes to between the North or South Pole, and they ask her to bring a group that has no experience of whatsoever what happened in there to take a journey through there, like Jurassic Park. Oh, wow.
I think we need to hire you. You know your stuff. Yes. No, seriously, you know your stuff, so we got to hire you as a contributor to the writing staff, man. That's amazing. Dang. Thank you. That's great. That's great. So, thank you for having me.
Gracias, estamos puestos por acá de nuevo.
Gracias. Gracias.
Sí, de mi agua.